Hello, this is John Miller, the creator of The Rest of Everest. I think I can safely say that this show is, without a doubt, the most in-depth look into the entire experience of what it takes to climb Everest, as well as some other peaks throughout the Himalayas. But all of the events in this series are shown in chronological order, so if you're new to the show, please go all the way back to episode 000 and watch everything in order. That's truly the best way to enjoy it. Thanks.
This is the Rest of Everest video podcast, an almost unabridged expedition experience.
Episode 138, Yaks in the Mist.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to The Rest of Everest. I'm John Miller. We are going to, as promised, continue on with the trek down, and this week we have just some of the most incredible views that we got on the entire trip, and honestly, that's because we were there in the morning in the high peaks area, whereas most of the footage that you've seen so far has been in the afternoon, mid-afternoon and late afternoon, and that's when all the clouds closed in. So we really were treated to just a glorious day as we started hiking down. And hiking with me way back over a year ago was some of the people joining me today. So John Farah and John Coleman are back with me this week. Chris Marquardt, and then Tilo, who doesn't need a last name, and then Steve and Andy Wolf, and of course, as always, Jeff Coe was with us. How are you guys all doing today?
Doing great. Fine.
I think as people were going down, they were feeling better with the lower altitude, and people started really picking up all of their filming. And we don't really get much footage from the majority of the group except for Steve Wolf, who filmed constantly on the way down. We really start picking up footage once we hit tree line, which we won't hit for another couple weeks. But we really do have an amazing amount of footage, and I really appreciate everyone filming. And so you'll get a really good experience of some of the stuff that we missed on the way up because we just honestly weren't feeling that well. And I think everyone started feeling amazing on the way down. But I'd say let's go ahead and get back up to altitude here and let's check in with some of the incredible views of Nuptse, which I think is just one of my favorite views on the planet. So let's get back up to Gorak Shep to start the descent. So here we go. All right, as promised, there's Nuptse. And this is just past those buildings that we were in. This is the trail goes up this little hill, and then we start descending.
Yeah, the whole descending thing is deceiving. There's still an awful lot of uphill even going down.
Right, you start with going uphill.
Gorak Shep now.
Steve Wolf
on our way to Labuche and then on to Dingboche. You can see, I hope, Andy and Tilo and I don't know who that next person is. Somebody got mixed in with our group. And I think that was John Coleman behind them, and Chris, and I don't know who that is right now. And
been pretty fast
some of the
here.
rest of the group down below. And here's Andy, about to go by.
I wanted to maybe climb someday, but forget it. Nope.
Oh, maybe be a mountaineer?
Yeah. Maybe they were mountains.
There's lots of great ones in the States.
Look at that. Isn't that just incredible? You can't see Everest from where we were, yeah, but man, Nuptse just really dominates, and it's just incredible.
Makes you feel very small.
Yes. There's Kyle there. That was Pasong earlier in the shot. It's another shot here where Chris and I were both filming Kyle in the red there from 2 different angles. Here we'll match it. There we go. This is me. And this is the first of the many, many, many yak train shots in this episode. So if you like yak trains, you'll love this episode.
Love the sound of the bells.
And all the whistles, all the whistling from the yak men.
You call them a yak driver?
Yak drivers?
Yeah.
Sure.
Here's what it looks like to hike behind Steve Beatty in the
I have no comment for this here, by the way.
Nepal region.
I wasn't getting enough oxygen.
We're on the lateral moraine of the Khumbu Glacier, and he's doing his little dance that he usually does. You can see the orange pack up there in front of us, and you can see some yaks come on the way. So we're going to get out of the way of the yaks here pretty darn quickly, because they'll just go right past us, right through us. They'll knock us off. They won't care.
The yak always has the right of way.
Things in the trail to them. And look, there's the ever popular John Coleman.
Hi there.
And there's some water going down the hill, and I have no idea where it's coming from, because it comes out of the rock.
I love the stream of consciousness of Steve
And there's
Wolf.
the backside of Steve Beatty again.
Or stream of lack of consciousness.
Well, that's what I usually see of you when we're walking.
I just call it
And
babbling.
there's Tindy, our great Sherpa leader, up in front.
Some professional commentary.
And Jeff Coe, who has no nickname that he likes, right behind him. The trekking spine doctor, okay. Kind of long and difficult to remember, but I'll try.
That was classic Steve.
Hey, look, another yak train. And yeah, like we said, like John Coleman was saying, they always have the right of way, and they always look spooked.
Yeah, they kind of do. Might be the bells doing that to them.
I'm not sure who's filming this right now, but I was trying to get a point of view shot of the yaks walking over my cheap little, almost disposable HD camcorder, and I finally managed to succeed, but not that shot. There's Tilo.
There's Nuptse again.
On the right, yep. Nuptse and Pasong. And there's the glacier. And all the way down at the bottom of that hill is that big boulder. That's where I interviewed Appa Sherpa, which was actually only 2 days earlier than this. Seems like it was a lot longer ago.
A song.
One of the many pasangs.
Yes. I think this was experiment number 1. Trying to get the yaks to walk over my camera.
That was pretty good, John.
That worked out pretty well.
This is a memorial for some climbers who died while trying to climb Everest. Not sure how well you can see it. When we got here, there was this one little string of fur flags, the ones hanging down there. And so, yesterday I took two strings of fur flags up Kala Pattar, to the top of Kala Pattar, and I decided on the way down that this memorial needed some more fur flags. So I got Tindy to help me, Tindy Sherpa, and he and I put these new fur flags here. And I think it looks much better now. There are a couple things I'd like to say that I forgot to say about this place. The other day we were going up towards Gorak Shep. We met, I believe his name was Apu Sherpa here, and he's a Sherpa who has climbed Mount Everest 19 times, I believe. And one last thing is, I don't know if this is proper or not, but I'd like to offer these prayer flags in memory of Tindy's brother who died a few days ago up at advanced base campers near there on Mount Everest. So that's what those flags are for. And there's Tindy sitting right there. So here's something you don't see very often.
That was really great, Steve. Appreciate that.
Yeah, Tindy in the orange back at the front of the group.
I think this is the only time I was right with Tindy.
Steve Beatty's someplace way behind us, out of eye and earshot. I think I can hear Monica back there though. Ah!
That was Steve Beatty.
But Andy is our leader right now.
Steve Beatty and I were having a good time looking at you.
We're kind of stuck behind not a yak train, I guess a hybrid train. And I'll just let this run for a while so we can listen to the yak herder talk to his yaks in loving tones.
I think I should interject here that since this episode was filmed back in 2009, Steve Beatty has gone and gotten himself engaged.
Ooh. Hey, Steve. Congratulations.
Yeah, he's not joining us this week because he's camping with his fiancée, which sounds like a pretty good trade-off, I have to admit. Congratulations, Steve.
Never ceases to amaze me that everything that makes it to the Nepal side of Mount Everest, the base camp and everything up goes on this trail just about.
Those are pretty smart hybrids because they understand that language much better than I do, which is not at all. So this is what it looks like to be right behind the orange pack and Tindy Sherpa, walking into Nuptse with my buddy Steve Beatty right behind me, and Andy, who stopped to blow her nose, giving up the lead here. I hear her back there still blowing her nose, so I know she's still there.
Not too much information, dude.
And I think going up from Nuptse to Gorak Shep took 4 hours or so. And coming down was what, 2 hours maybe? It's back 10:30. Okay, so 2.5 hours. A little bit quicker coming down. Tindy put us on forced march tempo. Much easier going down, especially on the dirt trails. Our trail material of choice. Unless you're Canadian.
I have no idea what that means.
Those guys say A and hoser and words like that, so you don't know about them
I
anyway.
must apologize to the great nation of Canada. My favorite nation on all earth.
I was doing advertisements for dirt.
Actually, Steve and I had a conversation.
So John,
I'll tell you
we're
later.
here at La Bouche on the way down from Gorak Shep.
La Bouche.
Altitude, well, let's say high.
Yeah.
Like almost 5,000 meters.
Yeah, yours says high in meters. Mine says. Oh, look at that. Mine says high in feet.
Yeah, mine says high in meters.
Ladies and gentlemen, my sense of humor in a nutshell. Thank you very much.
Before this trek, you told me a bit about the things that can happen to gear, especially video and photo gear, at altitude. Let's hear about a few of these.
Well, probably the biggest thing that can happen is that once we get up high, which we have been for the last several number of days, is it's cold all the time. And when it's cold all the time, your the efficiency of your batteries drops dramatically. There just isn't the capacity. The chemistry in the battery kind of slows down to a crawl.
Yeah.
And so it just doesn't produce the same amount of voltage.
I just kept mine out because that's one of the reasons that I've already said that in the Swiss Alps episode about cold and batteries. Keep them inside your jacket, keep them warm. That's not a video battery, but it's a battery, it's a AA battery. So I have a few things around that I keep near to my body to keep them warm. And that helps them. Actually, you can revive batteries that seem to be totally died, and you keep them overnight in your sleeping bag, and in the morning you'll have batteries that can take another few hours.
Yeah, because the chemistry, when you apply warmth from your body, the chemistry becomes active again.
Right.
I don't personally keep batteries on my person, because my batteries are quite large from my video gear. And,
yeah, we're talking like 5 times the size of what I have in this camera.
And I can get like 600 minutes of runtime with my batteries, which is huge. But what's been happening the last couple of days is it'll say I've got 345 minutes, and I think great, no problem. And then I'll take a few shots, I'll look at my display again, and it will say I've got 245 minutes, and okay, it's still plenty. I'll take a few more shots, it'll say 110 minutes, and I'm thinking, oh, okay. And then I'll shoot a 2-minute interview with someone, and then my battery, about to die indicator starts flashing. And so it's exponential. The other thing that you have to be really careful about up here is it's extremely windy most of the time.
Yeah, you can hear that, by the way.
Yeah, it's a very dusty environment. You have to be very careful to keep your lens clean. I know you've probably discussed that as well.
Yeah, talked about that.
You have to keep your lens clean all the time. I always have a lens cleaning cloth.
Yeah, I've run out, but now I'm down to any sort of tissue. It will do the trick.
You know, it's entirely possible for viewers of your show, of the video segments you've done in the past. In 2007, I recorded a little viewer tip, or listener tip, as it was
from
back
Everest
then.
base camp.
From base camp on the other side of the mountain in Tibet, and I said, clean your lens all the time.
Very
I think it was the same cloth, because I keep it on me every day.
Do you ever wash that?
I do, but this is filthy because it's been used quite a bit on this trip.
Yeah, it's probably tired.
There was one thing you talked about when it comes to glass.
Oh, in terms of the lenses?
The lenses, the bubbles and stuff?
Yeah, the bubbles. Now, I don't totally know the engineering behind the lenses, but I believe there's fluid between some of the elements.
I believe
there is definitely in some of my video gear.
Yeah,
I know that.
I know that for photo gear, what they do is that some of those lens elements, they take several elements, they glue them together, and it's entirely possible that there are very small air bubbles trapped within two glass elements. It might not even be
bubbles, it might just be dissolved gas.
Or dissolved gas.
And when you come up to altitude, as we said in meters and feet, it's high up here.
High.
That gas comes, it actually comes out of, if it is dissolved, it comes out of that glue or whatever, it expands. And you'll have an air bubble for a little bit.
Yeah.
In my video gear, it does seem to be like it's some sort of fluid that's optically transparent. You can't really tell, because you can hold the lens up in the air like this, and rock the lens back and forth, and it becomes like a bubble level.
The bubble will move?
Yeah, in the video gear. So you have to be careful. Most of the time when you're shooting, it's not a problem, but once in a while I like to get some nice point of view shots where I'll point the lens straight up in the air at someone, you know, from down on the ground, or at the sun or something neat, and you see this bubble go.
So how does that look in the video?
It doesn't look good. So yeah, but once you return down to lower altitude, it disappears.
Yeah.
One more thing that I can show visually with some gear. I have my iPhone with me.
Which, by the way, I found is not as precise in recognizing your fingertips.
Up here?
Up here, up at altitude. I tried to type a Y, and it would, for whatever reason, would not allow me to type.
I don't believe it was actually designed for this altitude.
I don't think so.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Let's see. We'll go to my contacts.
Mine died after I returned.
All right. So I'm going to show Chris first.
Yeah.
Do you see all of that there?
Ooh, is that the altitude?
This is from the altitude. Hopefully you can see this. Let's see here. Hopefully you can see it. Hopefully you can post-process it, Chris, if you can't.
Let me take a shot of it
at
later.
the bottom of the screen.
But there's all kinds of like, almost looks kind of like varicose veins in the screen, in the LCD. I'll show all you guys. There's a bunch of participants in the workshop behind us here. But this happens with LCDs. It almost looks like the screen has been crushed slightly.
So,
and that's just not the case.
Is that expanding stuff because there are liquid crystals in there?
It very possibly, but it's only right now. It's on my screen. It's only the bottom. This happened definitely in 2003 when I was on a full expedition to Everest, and
my PowerBook.
As soon as I returned to lower altitude, it disappeared, and I was really worried because I had my titanium PowerBook G4, which was very expensive back then.
And it had the same symptoms?
Exactly the same symptoms, but a much larger screen, so it had a lot more. But it disappeared, and the screen worked fine. So I know this will disappear once we return to Kathmandu.
Okay.
So I think that's pretty much about it.
Altitude and gear.
The other thing is, one thing we've all discovered, with my video gear, my tripod, not heavy in the United States, heavy up here at altitude. So I'm not actually carrying my big camera. Karma, our head Sherpa, our Serdar, he has it with him. And my tripod, however much I would love to have it right now, it only weighs 7 pounds. But up here, that's a lot more. So it's in my duffel bag being carried by a porter right now.
Every single step up here makes me feel like I'm not around 40, but around 80. It's just...
But the amazing thing about technology nowadays is that I still am able to film little segments along the hike because I have this very inexpensive little video camera.
Yeah.
I mean, this is about as cheap as it gets.
I actually envy you for that, because the video camera that's shooting us right now is 3 times as heavy at least. Might be a bit better in terms of image quality, but not that much actually.
Well, we'll see. This is shooting 720 PHD and actually 60 frames per second. So we'll see how it looks. Compressing to MPEG-4 as a QuickTime movie. So we'll see how it all works cutting in. We need to stabilize everything, but I can do that when I get home, and no one will probably know.
No one will know.
Especially compressed for a podcast. No one will know.
All right.
Well, they wouldn't have.
Yes, let's head off to lunch. Lunch is back there.
Lunch is not there.
Oh, it's not there?
Lunch is down the next town.
Yeah.
Oh, down
this is La Bouche. We have to go to Tukla, the next town down.
Oh, we'll make it.
So we better get going.
Okay.
I'm totally geeked out.
I think my favorite thing about that whole little segment there was how we're getting pummeled by grapple, the little like styrofoam pieces of snow, and we don't even notice. We've been out in the elements for so long by then. That kind of stuff we didn't notice anymore.
Yep.
Megan and I were walking together here, and she's like, "You should film this guy." He was just overpowering my mic. There was nothing I could do about it. He was so loud. It was amazing.
You must have to interview for the whistling skills.
All day, every day. That's what these guys do. It's pretty amazing. Just non-stop. Another one of my experiments. I almost wanted a yak to step on the camera.
Would have made for some awesome footage.
But they just tiptoed around it. They really did. I think this is the one I ended up being most happy with. Yeah.
That's what you can do with these small pocketable cameras.
Yeah, just remember we are sitting on the right side.
These are really nice yak bills.
Uh-oh. Steve Wolf again. This is walking back into the memorial park with all the different plaques and little stupas and everything to honor those who've died on Everest.
I purposely did not say anything during this segment because I wanted to honor them.
This whole park's on the terminal moraine for the Khumbu Glacier.
So I guess that means it's moving, huh?
I don't know. The glacier's retreating now. It's probably not moving right now.
Okay.
Okay, here I am behind Kyle, and we're walking down
also
a
known as
good dirt trail with some Canadian stuff thrown in.
Some more Canadian stuff.
And
what are
we're
you
coming
talking
up on
about?
a really lovely bridge. So
I don't want to talk around my narration here. I have utmost respect for the great nation of Canada.
Well, that's not Kylo.
I do.
That's Tilo. Okay, I'm behind Tilo. Sorry.
Did you see who's running through there?
Those two guys are in a hurry.
I think it was a Sherpa.
We're on the Canadian trail now. Poor Steve. Keep giving him a hard time. And here's this.
Steve said that he liked
nice
walking on
river
rocks.
Going through.
I liked walking on dirt.
And you see the bridge, I hope. Okay, now we're going across the bridge. Very lovely bridge. Oh, we're stuck in the middle of the bridge. And we're across.
I just thought it was a whole lot easier to walk on dirt. I couldn't believe Steve said that he liked walking on the rocks. So I bugged him about it for a couple hours.
Back to a nice
I can actually agree with Steve on that. I kind of preferred the rocky terrain personally.
So you're a Canadian at heart.
I must be, yeah.
Well, you're up there in Cleveland. That's close.
These trails, though, this trail here was pretty nice, though, because it was like cut out of this kind of mossy tundra.
Yeah, it was. There was about 15 parallel trails, and you had to kind of be careful about which one you were on.
But they were made of dirt.
All I know is I enjoyed them. This part here, it's pretty cool because this is where everything really got misty. We descended into the clouds, and then it was just really beautiful here. See, yaks in the mist.
There's not much for them to eat up there on the tundra.
Luckily, they don't seem to ever need to eat very much at all. They just keep going and going. Amazing animals. But this is not sped up. This footage.
This would be a good name for an episode.
It sounds a lot worse than it is, by the way. Oh, go ahead.
I remember this. I was 2 hours later. You can see 5 meters, not or 10 meters, and I'm so happy that I have my 2 sharpers.
So it really closed in on you, huh? Oh, John, not much visibility. It closed in on you as a couple hours later.
So, John, okay. I have for this way 10 hours was my time, and later, before we come to Tingbosche, we have some little snowstorm, and in the mountains, the last way, I see 5 meters or 10 meters, and I have my choppers. I'm so happy.
Yeah, they stayed with you. We actually have a lot of footage of that. Those guys stayed right with you the whole way down, and I think all of us were a little bit jealous.
But I have no problem. I'm so heat and make step by step, but the sharper were very small and they coldly. Oh.
So they were cold the whole time, huh?
Yes, but me never. I have no problem with my feet, but I make very slowly in the last time my steps.
But just like everyone else, you made it down, and we're actually in this episode, the next episode, we make it back into Dingboche, and we had a really nice night in Dingboche, and I think we're going to get you guys all reacquainted to the very addictive card game that Megan brought with her, called Phase 10, which is something that I think is burned into the memory of everyone on this podcast. Oh, my son is coming into my studio here. Here, Sam. Sam, you want to say hello to everyone? Say hello.
Hi. Hi, Sam.
Hi. So that's my cue saying that this episode is over, and so next week, we'll rejoin and get to see some of that stuff. But in the meantime, just thanks everyone. Really appreciate being back here, being back in the saddle, as it were, and really appreciate talking with all of you, having putting the time aside to record these episodes, and I look forward to recording the rest of them with you. So I guess Sam and I here will say goodbye, and we'll see all of you guys next week.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. The Rest of Everest is downloaded all over the world every day, and watching the show has become a part of many people's weekly routine. The show will always be free to download, but it's by no means free to produce. Please help me cover my costs by making a small monthly or one-time donation from the right sidebar on my website, and in return I'll give you some cool bonus materials. A donation of any amount will grant you access to some interesting video content, including high-definition versions of several podcast episodes. A one-time donation of $25 or more, or any of the monthly donation options, will additionally grant you access to a downloadable version of the film Everest: The Other Side, which episodes 1 to 61 are based on. I really cannot express how vital these donations are, and if you've made a donation, thank you so much. As always, our announcer is Marlon May, and our music is provided by Wendy Wu. Check her out at wendywu.com. Thanks so much, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you for watching The Rest of Everest. For more information on the expedition, please visit therestofeverest.com.